Bahay, kaya ako nakano. Hindi na ako nabili ng gamit. Ngayon, nakapagod ako pag-SM, wala akong gamit, no?
Oo. Tauhan ito ni ano, walang gamit. Walang pagkagamit. Sabihin mo tayo. Sabi na nito, walang na gamit. Ang lalaki. Lord! Kaya dadaan lang ako dito. Kami na kasama ko. Yung room attendant ng ano. Hindi mo sinusurrender yan. Alam mo, para sa iyo. Surrender nyo. Wala tayong ano. Pinalitan yan. Wala. Sira lang ang sir. Hindi mo. Diyan mo siya. Hindi mo balik yan. Tawag ka ka doon. Bro, libre naman. Mukhang mamahali. Yung ano, yan, Gika. Si, manong bawang yan. Yung malay mo galing sa labas yun. Maya-maya nga, pinalikan. Pinalikan yung relo. Pwede ka. Wala nang gano Kasi hindi pa ako nag-aas yun. Pwede ka na kayo nagkakay.
sun, but the moth still dies trying to chase it. That's the kind of energy you carry, Chosen One. And that's why one person, just one, is losing their damn mind trying to keep your name alive in conversations that you never asked to be part of. You didn't call them out. You didn't feed the fire. But still, they burn. They burn every time your name comes up, every time your light touches a space they swore you'd never reach. And now, even the people around them are backing away slowly, watching them spiral like a cheap fan spinning too fast and falling off the table. They don't hate you. They hate that you're chosen. They hate that the universe picked you and skipped them. They hate that you shine without asking for the spotlight, while they scream just to be noticed. And no matter how loud they get, they can't drown out the silence of their own irrelevance. Before we go deeper, if this message is already hitting something inside you, like and subscribe. Not just for numbers, but because when you do that, YouTube pushes this message out to more chosen ones who've been silently going through the same storm. The more we link up, the louder we get. The signal gets clearer. So take a second, hit that button, and let's keep building this movement. Now, let's talk. That person can't stop talking about you because you haunt them. Not with your presence, but with your absence. You stopped showing up, but somehow you're the only thing they show up to talk about. You stopped caring, but their whole personality turned into a protest against your existence. That's the kind of grip the chosen have. It's not just influence, it's spiritual gravity. It pulls people out of their masks. It exposes envy that even they didn't know was there. Your elevation activated their downfall. And you, stop doubting your light. Stop acting like you're losing just because people are loud. A dying engine makes the most noise before it gives out. They are not fighting you. They are fighting the universe that chose you. And that's a war they're not built to win. So don't you dare carry guilt for being selected. Don't you dare water down your glow just because someone else can't handle the shine. There's power in being chosen. It doesn't just bless, it breaks. It breaks fake alliances. It breaks fragile egos. It breaks every mask worn by people who smiled at you but prayed for your fall. Your light is not just illumination, it's a fire alarm. It wakes up everything fake around you and sets off panic in the hearts of those who built their identity around your silence. You've become their obsession because your rise highlights their stagnation. You're what they talk about when they run out of things to offer. You're the storm they try. To outrun by pretending they're the thunder. But the truth is loud now, louder than their lies, and everybody's starting to see it. So when they call you crazy, when they say you're unstable, when they try to flip your silence into a weakness. Remember this. Nobody calls the quiet one crazy unless their noise was never real to begin with. Chosen one, they are not sick of hearing about you. They are sick that you're the only one anyone is talking about. Keep shining, keep moving. You weren't made to argue with echoes. So if you've ever felt that strange tension, where someone talks about you more than they talk about themselves, yeah, this is for you. If your name lives in their mouth, but your energy left their life a long time ago, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you know the noise around your name isn't just hate. It's proof you've disrupted something fake. Stay locked in. This isn't surface level talk. We're about to dig into the layers they don't want you to see. And if you're truly chosen, you won't click away. Let's get into it. Number 1. They played with fire. Now they're crying about the burn. The same mouths that spit on your name will one day choke on your silence. That's where we're at, chosen one. They had your name in their mouth like a bad habit, wore your story like it was theirs to tell, played with the energy you carry like it was some toy. But now the fire they started has circled back, and they're standing in the middle of smoke, coughing, confused, pretending like they didn't light the match. The same ones who couldn't stop running their mouths are now running from the consequences. And the best part? You didn't lift a finger. You were never the problem. They were never built to handle the truth of what you carry. See, there's a power that comes with being chosen, and it doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. It disrupts, it shakes, it exposes. And when that power enters a room, every mask falls. That's what happened here. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the system that chose you. They challenged the universe, and now it's responding. You're not unstable. You're just unshakable. And that threatens people whose sense of self was built on illusion. Your very existence reflects what they wish they could be. You're the mirror they can't escape, the one that doesn't lie, doesn't soften, doesn't give them a way out. That's why they're obsessed. That's why your name keeps leaking out of their lips like they're trying to cast a spell. But you can't hex what's protected by the universe itself. They didn't want to deal with their own shadows, so they tried to drag yours into the light. But guess what? You already faced yours. You walked through every fire they're afraid of. You did the inner work. You healed. You evolved. And now you shine. And that's what drives them mad. Not your presence, but your progress. And let's be real. You've felt this. You've had those moments where you wondered, why do they hate me? Why can't they just leave me alone? You thought you were doing something wrong. You doubted your light. You questioned the pull inside you because people around you couldn't handle it. Let me check you real quick. Stop apologizing for being chosen. Stop shrinking because others are uncomfortable with your shine. Stop wondering if maybe they're right. They're not. They never were. They're loud, yes. But loud doesn't mean accurate. It just means desperate. They're desperate to flip the script and cast you as the unstable one, because the truth is more terrifying than any lie they can come up with. The truth?
Fear and worry suck. Have you ever been frozen or paralyzed by fear? Well, I have. It's an all too common experience. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to start winning your battle against fear and worry. I want to share with you a free resource that can help you in your struggle against fear or worry, and to live a life of greater confidence where you fear less. For the last 40 years, Pastor Dwayne Vanderklok has been helping people like me apply biblical principles to their lives and to help them overcome fear and worry, and to live lives of joy, peace, and prosperity. Today, I want to help you. Have you ever wished that you could extract yourself from the grip of fear? Have you ever dared to hope that someday you could say goodbye to the worries that invade your thinking.
You were chosen, and they weren't. That's it. That's the core wound. You got selected by a force bigger than both of you, and now the universe is moving things for you in ways they can't understand. That's why they talk. That's why they obsess. That's why they collapse every time you ascend. Your power reveals their limits. They thought they could mock you, wear you down, isolate you. But the universe doesn't abandon its chosen. It tests them, yes, but it never discards them. So when they thought you were broken, you were being rebuilt. When they thought you were done, you were just starting. The silence wasn't weakness, it was the sound of the universe aligning your next move. And now, they're stuck replaying old games, trying to make noise while you're moving in silence and stacking results. You're not crazy. You're not unstable. You're evolving. And that scares people still stuck in loops they created themselves. Let's talk metaphors. You're not the storm. They are. But you're the lightning bolt that splits the sky and shows everyone what's really been going on behind the clouds. You're the glitch in their fake system, the ghost in the machine they built around lies. You didn't break their reality, you just showed up, and it shattered on its own. And to the chosen ones who still doubt their worth, cut it out, right now. Every time you second-guess your calling, you give energy to people who never deserved to have any of yours. Every time you try to tone it down, someone weaker than you feels stronger. That's not humility. That's self-sabotage. The power you have isn't there to keep you small. It's there to wake people up, even if they don't like the alarm. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Not for your growth, not for your peace, not for your success, especially not for your survival. What you've endured would have folded them, and now they mock what they couldn't live through. So let them talk. Let them spiral. Let them keep your name alive while their relevance fades. Because truthfully, you don't need revenge. You are the revenge. Every step you take forward is a reminder that no lie, no rumor, no smear campaign could ever stop what was destined. The universe doesn't make mistakes, and it sure as hell didn't make one when it chose you. They laughed when you were quiet. Now they're crying because you didn't stay that way. Let them talk. Let them unravel. Your story's just beginning. Number 2. Built different, forged in fire, hated by the weak. You weren't made in the light. You were built in the blackout, while everyone else was asleep. Chosen ones, you were never just born. You were made, in silence, in pain, in those moments no one clapped for you, when all you had was pressure and no promises. While they were busy chasing validation, you were being shaped by something bigger. That weight on your shoulders, that was your armor being forged. And now that you've stepped out of the fire, they want to say you're unstable. No, they just can't recognize you because they've never survived what built you. See, you walk with something they can't name but feel. Your energy messes with people's systems, not because you're trying to, but because truth doesn't ask for permission. You enter a room and the lies start shaking. You say nothing and their masks begin to slip. That's the kind of presence you carry. That's the frequency you move with. It's not about being loud, it's about being real. And in a world full of performance, real is threatening. You are the glitch in their matrix. They say you're mentally unstable. Of course they do. Because what they can't control, they label crazy. What they don't understand, they try to destroy. They look at you and see everything they pretended to be but couldn't sustain. Your peace is louder than their chaos, and they hate how calm you are in rooms they try to dominate. They speak your name like an insult, but the room listens, because your name carries weight. Theirs is just noise. You didn't ask for this, but you were built for it. You weren't designed to blend in. You were wired to disrupt, to break down the fake and make space for the real. Your path wasn't one of comfort. It was carved with your own hands through concrete, while they were handed shortcuts and still managed to get lost. You didn't arrive here by accident. You were aligned by something greater, by the universe itself. You didn't come to war with anyone, but your presence started battles anyway, because your light made darkness panic.
Hello sa lahat. Ngayon, nandito tayo sa isang napaka-espesyal na live stream na may napakalaking diskwento. Ang super trending na Bee Venom Joint Cream ay kasalukuyang may discount na hanggang 70% at mahigit 10,000 ang bumili nito. Kung gusto mong mag-order, i-click lang ang link sa pagbili o mag-send ng direct message sa akin. Ang promo na ito ay magtatapos kapag 200 customers na ang matagumpay na nakapag-order at nakatanggap ng kanilang produkto. Para sa mga madalas makaranas ng pananakit ng kaso-kasuan dahil sa matagal na pagupo, pabago-bagong panahon, pamamanhid ng kamay at paa, hirap sa paggalaw, arthritis, osteoarthritis at pananakit ng balikat, Bee Venom ang perpektong solusyon para sa iyo.
They don't hate you. They hate what your life reflects. That it's possible to rise without playing their game. That you can walk alone and still be followed by favor. They hate that you didn't need to destroy others to build yourself. That's why they're obsessed. That's why your name stays in their mouth like a chant. Because deep down, even they know you carry something untouchable. And let me say this, to every chosen one who ever questioned, why me? Why do they lie about me? Why are they so triggered by my silence? Why can't I just live in peace? Here's your answer. Because peace is what you were sent to bring. And peace is war to those who only know chaos. You were not made for their comfort. You were made to dismantle the system they've been hiding in. When you enter a space, the energy shifts, not by force, but by alignment. You're not fighting, you're flowing. That's your strength. And the fact that you can do all of this without raising your voice is what scares them most. They scream your name hoping to get a reaction. But you stay grounded because you already know when you move, reality follows. So, stop explaining yourself. You don't have to make your light palatable for people who chose the shadows. Stop watering down your truth just because it tastes bitter to people who've only lived on lies. You don't need to prove you're stable. You need to keep walking in the stability they can't manufacture. And here's a truth they'll never admit out loud. They wish they had what you have. Not just your talent, not just your wisdom, but your resilience. Your ability to fall without folding, to be mocked without melting, to be lied on and still walk in purpose. You are living, breathing proof that the universe aligns for those who don't bend to fake systems. So when they look at you with fear, confusion, or hate, just smile. Because their reaction is the clearest sign you were never meant to fit in. You were sent to stand out. And standing out makes you the enemy of every coward who built their identity on conformity. Let them talk, let them label, let them spiral. You weren't born for their approval. You were forged for disruption. Number 3, you don't argue with shadows. You outgrow the room. When the eagle flies too high, the crows can't breathe. That's not your problem. It's gravity reminding them they don't belong at your altitude. Chosen ones, let's get this straight right now. You don't engage, you elevate. You don't clap back, you ascend. You don't go back and forth with people who have to shout to be heard while your silence moves mountains. What they call arrogance is actually altitude. You're flying above storms they created just to feel important. They keep throwing your name around, trying to bait you, trying to provoke you, hoping to drag you back into rooms you've already outgrown. And yet, you stay still, silent, unbothered. That's not weakness. That's dominance without desperation. That's what it looks like when someone is operating on a whole other level. You're not unstable. You're unapproachable to people who can't meet your frequency. Understand this: your spiritual power, your presence, your pull, your clarity. It wasn't earned through their systems or validated by their applause. It's written into your code. You were born with it. That's why they can't figure you out. That's why no matter how hard they try to copy, study, or mock you, it never hits the same. Because your energy isn't something that can be rehearsed. It's felt. It shifts the air. It silences the noise. It exposes every lie in the room without you even speaking. They're not your enemies. They're side effects. Side effects of your growth, of your healing, of your refusal to play small so others can feel tall. They show up not because you're doing something wrong, but because your existence exposes everything false they've built around themselves. You are the light they keep trying to dim without realizing they're standing in their own shadow. Let them call you unstable. Let them say you're too much, too different, too intense. You're not here to convince anybody. You're not a sales pitch. You're a mirror. And mirrors don't lie. They just reflect the discomfort people feel around you. That's their truth showing up uninvited. That's the version of themselves they buried, crawling up to the surface, screaming for attention. You don't chase arguments. You don't waste divine energy debating with confusion. You're not in the business of proving anything. Your life is the proof. Your stillness is louder than their tantrums. Your elevation is the answer to every rumor, every lie, every half-truth they tried to spin into a full story. And you know what's wild? Your very presence initiates change in people who didn't even want to evolve. It forces them to choose, either level up or fall apart. And most of them, they fall apart. That's not your fault. That's the price of being real in a world addicted to fake. You don't move like them because you were never one of them.
Theme days, not giant lists. Be honest, quit feigning holiness. Short lists, big impact. Yell it out and celebrate the wins. ADHD Christians, this one's for you. It may sound simple for normies, you know, those neurotypical kind of people, but for us, let's be honest, it's climbing Everest in flip-flops. What is it? Prayer. You ever done this before? You sat down, you cleared your mind, and you're going to pray unobstructed. Good joke. Best case scenario, you sit down, you fidget, you pray, you remember a random fact from 3rd grade with Mrs. Kavanaugh, and then you try to get back to praying, you think about 3 things you didn't do yesterday, and then you tell yourself not praying, then you attempt to pray one more time, and you end up Googling cute cat videos. Yeah, me too. Quit beating yourself down. That isn't from Jesus. That is from the pit of hell. We're going to build a system today. Let's lock arms. You got this, bro. Let's go. Here's the answer. Prayer lists. Here's the process in 5 loops. Loop number 1, I tried before. It doesn't work for me. I don't know what to say. Don't try to be holy. Be honest. Let's kill the guilt first. You don't need a monk's discipline. You don't need poetic or fancy journals. You need honesty. Get a piece of paper. Open your phone. Write this at the top of your prayer list. God, I'm here. I'm trying. Help me focus. That's your first prayer. Boom. And it counts. Luke 1 complete. Luke 2, I'm so busy. I have so much to do. I can't keep track of everything. Answer, theme days, not giant lists. ADHD brains get overwhelmed fast. Quit praying for everything every day. Split it up. Try this. Monday, family. Tuesday, friends. Wednesday, your church. Thursday, the world. Friday, yourself. Yes, you're allowed to pray for yourself. Weekends kind of free flow, whatever the spirit stirs. Boom. Structure and flexibility. And if you forget a day, grace, not guilt. Luke 2, total victory. Free. Luke 3, there are so many things to pray for. I don't want to forget some. Short list, big impact. You don't need 42 names.
Your silence makes them louder. Your peace drives them wild. Your refusal to engage creates a vacuum so loud they implode trying to fill it. You don't react because you don't need to. You already won the moment they started obsessing. Some of you have been asking, should I say something back? Should I clear my name? No. The universe is already doing it for you. Your elevation is exposing everything they tried to hide. The people watching, they're not blind. They can see who's spiraling and who's glowing, and it's not you that's unraveling. So sit back. Let the circus unfold. Let the clowns do what clowns do. You were never part of their show. You were the reason the audience left. And to every chosen one doubting their power, feeling tempted to engage with the noise, stop. The storm can't touch you when you realize you are the sky. You're not unstable. You're just standing in clarity so sharp, it makes the delusional feel like they're drowning. Let them struggle. Let them resist. That's their initiation into truth, not your problem to fix. You didn't come here to fight battles below your level. You came to transcend everything that tried to hold you there. Number 4. Their obsession is the slow fire they lit themselves. They didn't destroy you. They advertised you. Chosen one, let's call it what it is. This isn't just gossip. It's fixation. It's obsession wrapped in jealousy, dressed up as concern, masked as criticism. But peel back the layers and you'll see what's really going on. They can't stop watching you because they can't stop feeling you. You're not living rent-free in their head. You're building empires in a mind they can't control. You became their storyline, their plot twist, their main character energy without even showing up for the scene. And now, everyone sees it. The crazy one isn't the person doing the inner work, moving in silence, leveling up. No. The crazy one is the person who won't stop talking about someone who's already moved on. Their obsession. It's not a compliment, it's a confession. A loud, unstable cry from someone who lost control of the narrative and is now spiraling because they never were the story to begin with. You were. Every insult they toss, every shady post, every weird conversation behind your back, it all loops back to one thing. You shook something in them. Your energy exposed the wound they never had the courage to clean. And now, instead of healing, they've made you the villain in their drama. A distraction from the emptiness they're too afraid to face. But let's be clear, they're not just hurting you, they're unraveling themselves. Every word they speak drips with desperation. Every post they make becomes a window into their own unhealed mind. They think they're dragging you, but they're just broadcasting their breakdown. You're the mirror, and they can't look away. Not because you're flawless, but because your flaws didn't break you. Your scars didn't silence you. You're still rising, and that drives them wild. They want your downfall to feel justified. They want you to break so they can say, see, I was right. But every time you don't fold, they fold a little more. Every time you win silently, they lose loudly. And let's be real, at some point it stops being about you. You've moved on, you're focused, you're building, evolving, expanding. But they're still running their mouth like it's a treadmill, going nowhere, but exhausting themselves in the process. And the universe? Oh, it's watching. Every attack sent your way comes back around, not always instantly.
Has your soul been bruised by a betrayal by somebody who was close to you? Ending a bad, broken, or abusive relationship.
But always intentionally. That energy they put out returns dressed as their own chaos, their own confusion, their own downfall. That's the boomerang effect they never factored in. Because when you mess with the chosen, you're not just picking a fight, you're trying to wrestle with the blueprint. And the blueprint doesn't bend, it corrects. They're unstable, not because of what you did, but because of what your existence reflects. You showed them what they could have been if they weren't so focused on tearing down others. You made them realize they were standing still while you kept moving. And now they're panicking, stuck trying to build relevance off your name like it's a foundation. But hate is a house that always collapses. Here's what makes it even more powerful. You didn't engage. You didn't retaliate. You didn't even acknowledge half of it. And still, the whole world is watching them spiral. That's how powerful your silence is. It outspeaks their obsession. You didn't have to drag them down. You just had to rise.